Hey people, this is going to be a video review of the Diodario, however you want to pronounce it. What is that? The 10 strings or the 11 strings, the EJ15s. Comes in a box of 3 on the left, or the EJ13s. The number 11s on the right. I've got number 11s on the guitar right now. I'm going to put this thing on a tripod and then talk to you for about 2 hours, and then we'll do a sound test. There, we're on the tripod. I don't even know if this thing's tuned up. I don't care. Most of this video is going to be my thoughts, my comments. Your thoughts and comments might vary. That's okay. That's just how life is. It's my channel, so I'm putting my comments on. If you don't like them, set up your own channel and put on your own comments, and we'll all be happy. So, I've done a whole bunch of video reviews over the years. I've been playing guitar, self-taught on and off, for about 5-6 years. In the 6 years, I should be a lot better at playing than I am, but considering overall that I really didn't have lessons, or I had like 4 lessons or something, that was mostly the guy talking about how awesome he was and what a great player he was. But, and that's when I decided I didn't really need him. I could be a better player. I'm not a better player. I wish I was a better player. I wish I started out when I was younger. I wish I had a lot more talent. If I had a lot more talent, I would use it to help out a lot of other people, play at facilities, and just entertain people so they could enjoy the music. But I don't have that. I don't think in the years that I've got on this earth that I will get to the level that I want to be. I'm not going to push for that. You know, I just play guitar because I enjoy it. And where I'm at is I try to progress every day, but you know, that's another thing. So I've done a ton of videos over the years about different strings I like, strings I hated. Some people, a lot of people said, good video, I'm going to buy those strings. Other people said I was crazy, I didn't know what I was doing, I was a rotten player, I had no talent, I sucked, I wasted 2 hours of their life talking. You know, the typical stuff you get when you post videos on here. So, when you post a lot of videos, you learn to ignore all that garbage, or you click the report and get their account booted off of YouTube. So, I went back and forth. Let me see, I've got the strings behind my tojos over here. I went back and forth. First I started out, I think, with my favorite string, definitely my favorite string, EJ, what is that? EJ13, the number 11s. I love this string. It's a thick string, it's really easy. The nice thing about this string is I can't play 12s. 12s just, not only do 12s hurt my fingers, and don't talk about building up calluses. Building up calluses has nothing to do with finger strength. If your fingers don't have the strength, it doesn't matter if you have calluses all over the place. Your fingers are still going to hurt. My fingers never hurt on the tip. They hurt from pressing. So I never have to worry about calluses or pain on the tip of the fingers. It's the strength. And let me throw a story in there. I went to the guitar shop, and he asked what strings I had on my guitar, and I said EJ11s, and he says, oh, you're a girly man. You're a girly man. You ought to be playing with 12s or 13s. I really didn't want to go back to him and give him my business. He's no longer in business now. But I went back there a couple years later. That's where I took the lessons, 4 lessons, and waste of time. But I walked in there and I said, so what kind of strings do you play? And he says, I play 10s or 9s. You know, I'm so old now, I don't have that finger strength, and so I just like to play. I don't worry about the sound or how thick the strings are. And I wanted to call him a girly man, but I didn't. So, I love these strings. They're thick enough. Now, you know, a lot of people complain about my nails in my videos. Short nails for the fretboard, longer nails to get under the strings. You don't have those nails, you can't really do this. You can't do it. Believe me, if you try to do it without a nail, you will hurt the area right underneath where the nail goes to the finger. So you need to have something, especially if you're going to be doing stuff like that's the number 11. It's got a beautiful sound. It's just, I love them. I really love these strings. And I played this on and off for years, and I did a lot of videos on EJ, what did I say, the EJ13, the number 11s, the number 10s. And I always, when I first started off, I didn't want to go, I didn't want to do bar chords, I didn't want to go above the 5th fret, I didn't want to do this, I didn't want to do that, I had certain strings I liked, and now that I've got a few years into this thing, and my whole view on life has changed. The whole thing about life is, you just want to survive in this world, on this earth, in this world. You want to make it, especially now with the Corona and COVID thing. You just want to live out your life, be happy, be healthy, try not to have a lot of pain or suffering or crying, and if you have the money and you can live out your life, that's the best thing in the world. So I consider myself very lucky to be where I am, and I just hope that I can survive and crank out more years. But when I first started out, it had to be 11s, and then I tried the 10s, and I loved the 10s, but I said, I don't like the 10s as much. The 11s have that bass on it. It's got that nice, and the nice thing is that you can grab it. There's a big difference when you first start playing these things between the 10s and the 11s. With the 11s, you just grab that string with a little bit of a nail, and you get... And then you start with the 10s and you say, where the heck's that string? The string is so tiny, and you're grabbing and you're picking, and you can't get anything to grab onto with your nail. So, and then maybe like 2 years ago, I don't know, life is just going so crazy. It goes so fast. And maybe 2-3 years ago, I don't remember, I did a video where I compared the 10s and the 11s. It was a real serious video where I put 10s on one guitar, 11s on that guitar, and then I did it on another guitar. And I listened to the audio, and I know when you make a recording, it all depends on the speakers on the computer, depends on the microphone, depends on your rendering the video, what it's going to sound like in the end. But as I listened carefully, I could not tell a difference. I just couldn't. I didn't notice a difference. I didn't notice a difference in the bass. Maybe my hearing's changed. Who knows? I didn't notice a big difference. And that's when I said, why play the 11s? Why play the 11s when the 10s are a lot easier to play? And when you get older, you lose the bass in your ears. You lose hearing the bass, but you hear some of the higher pitches a little better. At least I think it's for men. But either way, I didn't notice the bass in the 11 as much as I thought was there. When I play it, I notice the difference. When I listened to the recording, I couldn't tell the difference in the strings. I closed my eyes and I just said, I'm going to listen to both of them and try to figure out which one. I couldn't figure it out. So I've got this pack of 11s left, one package left. I've got a package of another brand, and then I went out and I bought nine sets of strings, 3 in a box. I bought nine sets of strings that are number 10s. And so I put these numbered 11s on here last week. I thought, I don't want to throw it away. So I played it for a couple weeks, and I'm just not happy with it. I feel like I'm struggling more than I need to be. And then I've got this. And so I know if you don't have a lot of money, if you're struggling, there's some people, they don't have money, they're struggling, throwing out $5 worth of strings. No, you got to donate them, you got to find somebody that plays. And I kind of did that with this. I said, yeah, it's a waste of money. Just play it for a couple months. And when you think about it, play it for a couple months and suffer and struggle so you can save $5 that you already spent years ago and it doesn't matter. And I'm taking these strings off. I put them on a couple weeks ago and I'm just going to take them off now. As far as this thing, I'm probably going to throw it in the garbage so I don't have to think about it. I'm not giving these to anybody. I don't know anybody that plays guitar. I'm not going to find somebody to hand them a $5 package of strings and maybe catch a coronavirus in the hand transmission. It's going in the garbage. And I'm going to replace it with the 10s. And as long as I'm on this earth, playing an acoustic guitar, from now on, this is all I'm going to buy, is the 10s. A lot of people say they like Fender strings. I hate Fender strings. If you put Fender strings on this thing, I probably could not tell the difference. But in my mind, I hate Fender strings. I put it on and it broke within a couple days. I didn't like the sound of it also. I've got other videos that I posted. I didn't like the sound of those strings. John Pierce, I couldn't stand them. People wrote to me and said I didn't know what I was talking about. They're the best strings they've ever used, and I don't know what I'm saying. Well, maybe you like them. Good for you. I don't like them. So I've been using Diodario, whatever you call it, Dilly Willy, Dookie strings for forever. and it's just the brand that I like. And I've always stayed with them, except I'm trying to think of what, for the classical guitar, for the classical strings, I really haven't used D'Addario. I think I have one guitar with nylon that's D'Addario, but so what am I trying to say? What I'm trying to say is strings are a personal thing, and a lot of us just get programmed into. There are people that say they've played every brand of string and they found the string they liked. I got a feeling if you put a string on there that they hated, they would have no idea, probably just with me. But I've stuck with this brand, I enjoy this brand, and so my video review is mostly just telling you, if you play with 12s and you think they sound better, maybe they do. I like the sound of a string that rings out. I don't like the 12s because they just sound dead. They just have no, they don't ring out. They don't have a, they sound flat. They're boring, they're dull, they're morbid, they're sad, there's no feeling, there's nothing. And when you put on the 11s, there's a lot of sound to them, a lot of rich brightness to them. I like, oh wow, I didn't know, these are phosphorus bronze. I had no idea. Because I love the 80-20 bronze. I love 80-20 bronze. I did a review. This is why it gets into, you don't know until you know, and you never know you know. I love 80-20 bronze. I don't like the dull, boring sound of phosphor bronze. I hate it. I like number 11 strings. I don't like the sound as much of the number 10 strings. I don't think it sounds as bassy and as crisp. And when I did my review, and I wanted to be really serious and not judgmental, I couldn't tell the difference. When I first started out, it bothered me. I was very judgmental. When I did the review, I couldn't tell the difference between the 10s and the 11s. Once I started playing, I really didn't notice the difference between the 80-20 bronze and the phosphor bronze. And I know there is a difference because I've heard it, playing it. But when I listened to the recording, I just thought, I just don't care. I don't care. I just want to be able to play and enjoy playing the guitar. So hold on a second. But that's not the end of it, people, because I do have the phosphor bronze, which to me really is a duller sound. It's just a reality. It's a duller sound. And I've got 2 packages in there, and I'm not going to throw these away. I could go back to saying, you know, it's only $10, $15. Why suffer? But the thing is, I'm not going to suffer. Once I put them on, I'll be playing the number 10s. It will be easier for me to play. My fingers will adjust to it over a short amount of time, and the nails will get used to grabbing the smaller string for the picking. So, overall, what's my favorite string? The D'Addario number 10s. I'm not going to throw out the phosphor bronze. I'm going to keep them. I might keep it on for a couple weeks. I might keep it on for a couple months. As I said, once I put it on, I will just start playing, and I'm not going to say, if you're a top musician, you might really notice it. It might bother you. But I guarantee you, if I put the strings on and you didn't know what was on there, you'd say, oh, I love these strings. Because that's just how us humans are. We're very picky about things, and we think we know. When we don't know, you know. So, I bought the box of phosphor bronze. I'm going to use them. My second favorite string, definitely. My first favorite string. Maybe I'll put these on. Maybe I will put these on. I'll put on the 80-20 bronze for the video. So, I can put these on later. As long as I keep living and I'm on this earth, over time, I've got 6 of these and 2 of these. So it's not a 6'9", it's a 6'8". Or is it a 6'2"? It's 6'2", not 6'9". Where did that come from? Can you say 6'9" on a YouTube video? I don't know. Favorite string, 80-20 bronze. This is an awesome string. It's a fabulous string. I totally recommend it. The number 1 string. There is nothing better. D'Addario, I'm not a great player. I've been playing for 6 years. Never broke a string. Ever, 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 never, ever, never, ever, never with a D'Addario. I've broken the Fender string and I've broken a few others. Ernie Ball makes a really neat string. I will say that. They make a, what is it? I can't remember what it is, like silk, or Ernie Ball silk, or that's another thing. They're other, I think Diodario and Ernie Ball, they make this something in silk. Wonderful string. It's a weird string to play, because if you're used to doing the bronze or the phosphor bronze, and you go to that silk, whatever the heck that thing is called, it's so easy on your fingers. It's so easy to play. It's wonderful. It really is an experience. I don't think the sound is as good as these, but again, if you put it on, and I had no idea, and you told me you put on Diodario EJ13 bronze, I'd probably say, oh, I love this. But they really do feel a lot different to play. So the silk strings, whatever those are called, I did some reviews on them. Totally cool strings. If you don't want to go with the silk strings, maybe you try them out, you don't like them. My suggestion for the best strings out there has always been Diodario, the EJ13 bronze, the phosphor bronze. I'm pretty sure I did a review on both of these. I've done multiple reviews, but I'm going to play this one last time just so you can hear. I'm not that good. And I could, at the end of the video, mix the two of these together in a row so that you can hear the difference. Whoops. And I'm not really good with lead, but let's do something here. So it's got some nice bass to it. It's got a nice sound to it. I'm going to go pop on the number 10s. These were put on a couple weeks ago. Starting to get a little dirty already. They just sound really good. So again, it is personal preference. Nobody is going to agree with me, and maybe everybody will agree with me. Those are bars, very easy to do with these strings. Number 12s, I wouldn't have the strength in these fingers to pull off a bar at all. Time to restring, I'll be back. I know this isn't really giving you what you were looking for because you want to hear a comparison. Nah, not in my video. A lot of my videos are just educational, my thoughts, my feelings, what I think. Do a thumbs up, subscribe, like, share. You want to help me out, donate to my channel, ask for my PayPal info. If you buy these strings, I'll leave an affiliate link in the video description. Click on the link, it will take you to Amazon. Give me like 5 cents. Help you make your order, help me. Time to do the restringing. I wasn't gonna do a restringing part to this video, but why not? I haven't done one in a couple years. Nobody looks at my videos, nobody watches them, nobody does a thumbs up, nobody cares. Everybody's watching the famous people. My videos suck, the world, that's just how it is. So what I did is I took out, and the thing that's really surprising to me, I've talked to a bunch of people that play guitar for a living, and I asked them, I say, what strings do you use? And they say, I don't know. It totally blows me away. When I first started learning how to play guitar, I wanted to learn how to change strings, and it took me about half an hour to 45 minutes or an hour just to do it. I don't know how these pros do it on in a business. I don't do it every day, so it still takes me like 20 minutes or so, 15, 20, 30, who knows. But a lot of people out there play guitar. They don't restring their own guitar, and they have no idea what brand of strings. They take the guitar to the guitar shop, and they let them string the guitar for that. It's unbelievable. It's not that hard to do. Once you do it a few times, you go like, oh, it's not that bad. Yeah, it's going to take you a while to do. You really should restring them. A lot of people say if they're pros, they restring every day if they play a lot or every week. I think that's ridiculous. But maybe they do go dead after a while. When they start to get rusty or dirty, you definitely want to do that. People that wait a year, you shouldn't do that. I've got, what do I have? I'm looking right now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I have 7 guitars. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 2 of them are nylon, so I've got 5. 5 plus this is 6. I don't know if I've got another one in the bedroom. I think that's it. I threw out a couple just to get rid of them. I know, I didn't donate them, don't jump on me. I'm not going to put I was thinking about it, I'm not going to put new strings on all of these things because a lot of times I restring them and I don't play them. And I know when they sit there for a while, they're not as good as new strings, but I'm not going to do that until I start playing. So I'm going to take the 3 strings out. This is the fat string, the number 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The Diodario does it by colors. The others do it by, I think they put a label on there or something, they don't do colors. Diodario has a ball on the end. I just threw the strings in the trash, but it's a ball. It makes it a lot easier to put in than having a string that wraps around there or a loop or whatever they use. So let me put the 3 strings in. Some people say it doesn't matter, take all the strings off and then clean everything. I cleaned it last week or 2 weeks ago. I don't believe in taking off all 6 strings because I think it takes the pressure off of the neck. And the nut, sometimes if your nut is not glued down, which is definitely a problem in life if you're a guy, but if your nut's not glued down, then the nut might reposition or might fall off, which you can reposition it, but I just don't do it. I like to keep the tension on the neck. I do 3 strings, sometimes I do 1, but lately I've just been doing all 3 and then I turn it over and do the other 3. So I'm going to pop the 3 strings in here, push in the pins. I'll show you how to do that on one of them, and then I'll show you how to lock the string, and then that's it. Focus. If you've ever made videos, you know what a nightmare it is. I could be cranking this out right now. You got to get the camera set up, get the tripod over there, zoom in, get a picture, go back, do your work, do it back and forth and back and forth. This is what a ball end is. So it's colored, and you got your 6 balls. You should only have 2, but if you have 6 balls, then that's what you need. It's all done by color code. The ones I'm going to be doing are going to be brass, red, and black. That's going to be 6th, 5th, and 4th. Brass, red, and black. And I'm going to put them in, and I'm going to show you how they go in, how they seat in, and then we'll go to the other side. The dog is not happy. She cannot stand when I make videos. She doesn't like when I do things. Even if she's sleeping, when I'm doing something, it bothers her. She really just gets upset. So she's squirming around right now. And so the way they package the strings is they roll them up in 2. And since I'm going to be doing the first 2, I'm going to do brass and red. And then I'll do the black afterwards. So this is the 6th one. Now, it really doesn't matter. It could go in this way. It could go that way. I don't think it really matters when it goes in, but just for extra measure. So you got these. If these break, if these start to fall apart, you can buy them on Amazon really cheap. You can buy them. You can buy a set of these. They're just plastic. Some people say you've got to have ivory. I'm not that great of a guitar player where to me it wouldn't matter. I wouldn't notice a difference. I wouldn't care. I'm just not that picky. So what you want to do is you want to get it so when it goes into the guitar, it's kind of, let me get this way. It's kind of sitting like this. Let's get it. So it would be kind of sitting like that so it wouldn't come up. And so let's just do the red one now since I've got the red one in my hand. And again, it really doesn't matter if it turns that much. It's not the end of the world. Some people say you got to do it a certain way, but you don't have to do it a certain way. So you want this below, and you can put it all the way in and then pull it all. Yeah, can you say put it in all the way in on the tuber? I don't know. You put it all the way in, slide it down. I'm not even looking at the guitar. I'm looking. Everything's being done through the lens, through the viewer. So you want this flat piece facing this way. You don't want it turned. Press down. You can see it goes in fairly simple, fairly easy. And then you want to pull up, because if you don't pull up, then what's going to happen is when you put it on the peg, on the key, whatever that thing is, and you got to turn it, you're going to have the string kind of like snap a little bit, make a pop as this thing finally pops up. So you can hear it right now. See, it's kind of seated. So I've got the red one in there, and let me go for the brass one. I want to get my brass ball in there. And I said I was going to do all 3, but I'm not going to do all 3 right now because I just want to deal with 2 strings. And I really need to replace these pegs. They're old, they're chewed up from pulling them out. You saw how I pulled it, I think you saw. It slid up a little bit, now it's tight. Okay, so that's how you do that. The next one's going to be black, not that it matters, but I'm just going to show you how to do the first two, or the last two, or just two, it doesn't matter which two. Two, bar a coup. So we've got these two in there, and now I'm going to go and unwrap this thing. I didn't do that at the time, because I didn't want to have to deal with a lot of aggravation. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to slide the guitar, and I'm going to work on this end now. Now this is going to be kind of tough for me, because you really cannot do this with a camera in front of you. I am hoping that this is going to work, because I can't really look at the camera. If not, then you're just going to watch 15 minutes of me doing nothing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn this peg. It doesn't matter again, but I'm going to turn it so the hole is that way. You always want to have the hole in the right direction for when you insert something. So, not that it really doesn't matter, but for the video, that's how I'm going to do it. So I'm going to take this thing, I'm going to insert, I'm going to penetrate the opening, and I'm going to slide this all the way down. Oh, I thought this was going to be fine and I wouldn't have to move the guitar. Ugh! It's just so hard to record this. If somebody was above me or if I had a camera, it'd be a lot easier. So, now I've got, I'm not going to show you the other side, but I've got it pulled tight. Not really tight, but I've got it pulled. This is tight. So that's tight right now. And it doesn't matter, you want it to be pulled tight, but it doesn't have to be exceptionally tight, because you're going to wrap it around here. But if it doesn't work, you're going to know right off. Now, when you have the bigger strings, you have less space to do wraps. When you're working on the smaller strings, they will wrap around. So if you do the same length, you're going to get a whole bunch of wraps around here, where sometimes you think you've got the string pulled out the right length so that you're going to get 2 or 3 wraps, and you end up with much more material, which is definitely not good, or you only end up with like a wrap and a half or 2, which is not good. But as you put the strings on, normally when you start to tune things and tighten them down, you might get another half a wrap on there. Okay, so this is tight right now. Let me move the camera. I thought I turned it off, but it didn't go off. So, so that's okay. So, what I like to do, and everybody's got their own way of doing this, everyone figures out their own way over time, is some people will say you want to pull the string tight, and then you want to go back about one length, and then start doing the wrap. And I'll tell you, that gives you a heck of a lot of string. And I think that's going to be way too much string to wrap around. Look at that. There's just, it's flopping around. That's a lot of string. That's way too much. Some people say you want to give it half of a length. Now, in some of my videos, when I first started doing this, I used to say, go in here, tighten it, and then pull it up about 1 finger's length. Like that, bend your fingers and pull it up. But look how much string that gives. It's just, I don't know the ultimate way to do it where everybody is a pro. I just got a message on Facebook where everybody's a pro and they figured it out. But I just did it this way. Sometimes I'd gone to the 3rd fret or the 4th fret. But let's say we're on the 3rd fret now. So if we go over here, let's see what that gives us. If we go over here and we tighten this down, that's barely any space. Let me do that again. Let me tighten this down. I'm going to go up like I did before. At 3rd fret, fingers bent, and I'm going to let go. And that's just about half of that. And my guess is that when I do that, I'm not even going to get 2 wraps, but I'm going to go with that. Oh, I know, this is on my bed. It wasn't the person I was expecting to send me a message, but that's how I'm doing my video. You want someplace where, it'd be nice to do this on a table, but I don't want to upset the dog right now. So what I'm going to do is, I said, I'm going to go to the other thing. We've got about 1 length, which is way too much. 1 length between this and this is way too much string. Way too much string. I think, wow, this is a tough one. I think I'm just going to go I'm going to go with this, which I don't know. I'm using my forefinger on the fretboard and my other 3 fingers bent, and the string is underneath there. It gives me not even half of this. So let's just go with half the gap. Half the gap, Osis, is that too much? That's a lot. I'm going to stop over at that. I'm going to hold the string, and I'm going to take it and I'm going to wrap it around. This is different on both sides, so this only works on this side. I'm going to take the string and I'm going to wrap it around and put it underneath. It takes a while to learn how to do this. It's not hard to do, but it just takes a while to figure it out. So I have this string that I wrapped around clockwise and went underneath. Now I'm going to take it and go up and over and bend it down a little bit. If you didn't see that, sorry, there's really no way for me to do a good video of this. Let me zoom in a little bit. Somebody's walking down the hall. The dog's going to bark any second. So now that I've got the string wrapped around and going backward a little bit, I'm going to hold, you can see how I'm holding the string. I'm going to take the peg and I'm going to start to tighten it. This is called locking the string. A lot of people don't do this, a lot of people do. The advantage of locking the string is that it locks the string. It stops it from slipping. It stops this, not that I don't know that most strings slip, but this is just a technique that a lot of people use. I've used it ever since I learned it, and for me, it works that good. You want this thing to be tight. You don't want it to slip. If it's slipping, then start over. But the less you have to start over, the better. So it locks the string in place so that it doesn't slip and you don't lose your tuning. Now I'm going to go over to this thing over here. You want to make sure that when you're doing this, you don't want this in the nut, because as it slides through, it's going to start wearing your nut, and a worn nut, you don't want a worn nut. So I held this up a little bit. I got it where I wanted. I'm going to slide this in the hole now, and I don't even know how many wraps I have. I've got not even a wrap and a half. I don't know. It's not optimal. I probably could have gone all the way back to this thing, and that would have been enough. But when I do that, I always say that's way too much. So maybe half to 3/4. So now I'm holding the string, and I'm going to tighten it down a little bit. Let me get the tuner. I did a video on these tuners. I really like them. I just think they're very convenient. I've got the older style tuners, but these just work for me. They're really easy to use. So what I've got now is I've got the string partially tightened, and I just want to look and get an idea where I'm at. This is the E string, and it shows that we're at A. So I don't want to tighten this all the way now. And sometimes when you're doing this, like I said, the string inside the peg is going to pop. You need to jump. You're going to go like, oh, what just happened? So if you seat it right the first time, you don't have to deal with that. So we're at C. I like to get about 1 note away, and then I just leave it. Because what I'm going to do, I'm going to show you how to stretch the strings. Some people might say don't do that. I stretch all my strings. Once I do that, I don't really have a tuning problem. When I leave it alone for a couple days, normally I don't have to deal with a tuning problem. So this is the E string. D, I'm just going to leave that alone now. And then I'm going to get, a lot of people think it's really cool to, they think you're the ultimate guitar player if you leave this hanging all over the place. I think that's just an insecurity and you look like a fool. So we don't really have the 2 to 3 wraps on there. We've got maybe like a wrap and a half. And as I tighten it, it will be a little better. But I really should have gone with like at least 2 rings or 2 wraps. So maybe going over to here, it might have been a little better. I'm going to do the second string now, the same thing, and then I'll put on the other strings without the video. Well, no, I'll do the other side. I'll show you what it looks like, because locking the strings is backwards. And just so you know, when you're putting these on, when you are on this side, the big strings, you tighten by turning this clockwise. You turn it to the left. See? When you tighten it, and you loosen it by going to the right, which is opposite on the other side. Not that hard to do. Let me get the other string on and then I'll show you what's going on. Was I showing that in the video? Yeah, I guess I was. You have to remember, the bigger strings are bigger. So you're going to need more length of string to wrap around here. So I definitely could have gone with more string. But if you use that same length of string on a smaller string, you're going to end up with a lot more wraps. Now in this case, I only used a little bit, maybe about half. So if I do half on this one, I'm going to get a lot more wraps on this one. And if I do half on this one, there really isn't anything, but you can measure this way. You can measure it going backwards to find where you need to mark the string. So the smaller the string, the more wraps you're going to get. I'm going to go with about 3/4 of the gaposis here and then show you what it looks like. On this one I went about 3/4 of a wrap. I did the same lock, and we can see there's really not more than one wrap right now before tightening it down. Again, as you get to the smaller strings, you're going to start seeing a lot more wraps, and it's going to be way too much. So let's go check this out. I'm going to do a little bit of tuning here. This is the A string. Ooh, did you hear that little pop? That was the, I don't know if you heard that. That was the string popping underneath the peg on the other side. Now there are, what are they called? Chromatic tuners. Chromatic tuner will show A, B, C, D, E, F, and you really get an idea of what's going on. But when you get a guitar tuner, it's only going to show the notes for the guitar. It makes things a lot easier, because you might say, well, was that A, or do I need to tighten down more for the A? And it just gets a little confusing. So it's slipping a little bit. You want it to wrap underneath. You want it to wrap downward. You don't want wraps on top of strings. It feels really tight. Okay, that's the E that I did the first time. We're at C sharp now. E, F, G. And then if I go a little further, we're going to get to G sharp, and then we're going to get to A, which I don't want to get to. So I'm going to stop. I've got 2 strings done right now. I'm going to go finish off the third one, and then I'm going to come back and do the other 3 strings on the other side, and you can see how it works when you lock from the opposite side. As we see, this is the 6th string. I don't really have a lot of wraps on there. I barely have one. Do I have a 1.5? It's not a lot. It really should be a lot more. There's no excuse for that. So I really should have gone almost 3/4 to 1 on the 5th string. We see I've got maybe a 1.5, almost 2, and I went with much more. I went with almost a full space between these two. So this really should have been a full. But some strings I do that, or the pegs, and all of a sudden this whole thing is filled up. I don't like this, but having it locked, since I know it's locked and I left enough, I'm not going to have to loosen this. I'm never going to have to loosen this. So I've got enough that's going to hold it. This one, we've got maybe 2.5. This one, I went almost a full length. Of course, the string is thinner, so it's going to do more wraps, but it's just a hard thing to figure out. When you're locking the strings, for me, it's a lot different. When you go to a guitar store, they usually don't lock the strings, and it comes out really pretty how they do it, and you get nice 3 or 4 wraps, and it's beautiful, but you don't have this thing hanging up here. I always lock my strings. So for the 6, I would say you definitely want to do almost a full length. The thing is, when you do it, and I'll just do that next time, but when you do that, you might end up having too much, and then you have to pull the string back and wrap it again, which is okay. On Fender strings, you'll probably break them. On the other strings, you'll probably break them. On D'Addario, you won't. So we see now we're at the 4th string. Let me put on the tuner, and we'll start to look at what's going on as far as El Tunio. Let's look at what's going on as far as the tuning. Are we on now? I don't think we're on. We're at 6. Now we can see by putting that on, this used to be a D, now we're way lower or higher. This is going to be the A string, and we're still a G, and this is the new string I just put on. The 5th string, E, A, D. See, there's no way that this string is flopping all over the place. There's no way that could be E, A, D. That's not right. So that's where it gets tricky. G, A. I'm worried. Sometimes I say I'm going to break the string and I freak out. C. E, A, D. Let's get the string out of the way so you can see. We're close enough. I'm going to go to the other side now. What I do is I use wire cutters, good wire cutters, and I nip it right at the edge. I don't want to nip it too short. And again, always keep another spare set, a spare set with you. If you screw this thing up, just pull the strings off and put on a new set. They're not that expensive. I am on the other side of the guitar now. I turned it around. You can leave it on the table and go to the other side, but I would definitely turn it around so you've got access to this stuff. If you need to write it down, write it down. If you need to write down how you take the other side and you go clockwise, you go around and you go underneath and loop back and go to the left and then start turning. If you need to write that down, that's fine. It's opposite on the other side. This is the number 1, number 2, number 3. So let me start with the number 3. You might need to write this down. Sometimes I do it just I mark it down, or I do a little test before, because when the guitar is backwards and I'm not used to this, so I check it. This is 3. Okay, I'm going to take this thing and I'm going to turn it to the left. That's getting tighter. The pitch is going up. So I don't want to do that. So I have to write down to loosen it. I'm going to turn it to the right. Listen to this. So the string should be getting looser. So I'll be turning to the right to loosen these, and I'll be turning to the left to tighten them. I'm going to do that on all 3 of these. Turning to the right to loosen, and I'm going to take all of these off. Now we're going to be doing the last 3 strings. This is 3, and then 2, and then 1 over there. These are much thinner strings, so if you do the gaposis between here, you're going to end up with a lot of wraps, a lot, especially on the number 1, which is the thinnest string. As I do this, I always get mixed up, so I have to go really slow because I don't string these things restring that often, and I get kind of confused. So you remember on the other one where, I'm trying to think of how we did this now. On the other one, we put the thing in and then we wrapped it around clockwise, looped underneath, and then brought it over this way. This is completely opposite. Instead, we go counterclockwise. We go counterclockwise, loop underneath, and go backward. So I'm going to show you what that looks like now, if I can get the camera out of my way. Okay, this video is probably like 45 minutes on how to restring your guitar. Sorry, it's taken forever for me because I want to show you how to do everything. As I know, because I've been making videos for years on here, the average view on any video on YouTube is about 1 minute and 58 seconds, maybe like 2 minutes and something. So it doesn't matter if I post a 5-minute video or a 2-hour video, no one's going to watch it. That's just the reality of YouTube, unless it's a cool music video. So I don't really worry about making short videos anymore. I just do what I want to do, and if you don't want to watch it, that's up to you. So we've got this. You can see this is the number 3. And normally, as I said, with the other one, I would take it and I would put it around. I'd go clockwise, I'd loop underneath and go back. With this one, I'm going to position this. I'm going to tighten the string down, and then I'm going to go back about, maybe, I should go more than half, because I've been running into short strings with this. I'll go almost half. Almost half. And then I'm going to take the string and I'm going to go counterclockwise. Am I doing that the right way? See, it's so confusing. Counterclockwise, underneath, tighten it down, wrap the string back, and then start tightening to the left. And I hope I did that right. I think I did that right. Let me get the camera out of the way. I'll finish this off and show you. Now, I went almost over to here. So I went I went really far back, almost a whole length, and we've got, this is really what you want. I could have gone a little further back. It's going to tighten down a little more. I probably got about 2 wraps on there right now. EADG, so this is going to be the G. And again, as you tighten it down, you're going to end up with more string wrapped around there, but let's just see where we're at. See, it's already a G, but it's not G. So I'm going to the left on this. I tighten this to the left. F sharp. Now you would say, okay, why did it go from F sharp to A? So this needs to go to G. I'm just doing this with my pad of my finger now. E, A, D, G. So I'm going to leave it at that. Let's go check the 5th string, see where we're at. We've already lost a lot of the tuning because everything's stretching with more strings on there. This used to be E and now we're at C sharp. This used to be A. And I left it at about G and we're still at G. This should be D, C sharp for D. Okay, so we're close. And then this is, what am I doing? Moving in the wrong direction. And this is G and we're sitting at F, so we're very close. See how I did that? And you want to tighten this way. So I'm going to finish off the other 2, then I'm going to show you how to stretch the strings and get this thing in tune, and then we'll be done. Please, thumbs up, subscribe, like, share. I know nobody's even watching because nobody watches past 2 minutes. Want to donate to my channel, ask for my PayPal, buy the strings, click on the Amazon link in the video description. It will help me out a lot. Nobody does it, but I say it anyway. Thanks anyway for those who do. Let me finish off these other 2 strings, and then we'll do the stretching and tuning. Hey people, all right, I'm back 2 hours later. Sorry. You know, when your parents get older, life really changes a lot. I just had like a long talk with my mom about needing to take care of her health. And, all right, so I'm pretty stressed out here. Yikes. I'm sure these strings are completely out of tune right now. I'm going to check the tuner. I'm going to show you what you need to do to get these things in tune. Don't tell me the battery ran out. Oh my God, the battery's dying on this charger. I mean on this tuner. E. Let me show you how to do this now. C sharp, D. I'm going to get this in tune, and then I'm going to show you what you need to do. You know, it's weird having to tell your parent, you better take care of yourself, because if you end up having a stroke and you go in a nursing home with the coronavirus, I can't come there to see you, and that will be the last time we'll see each other. Scary thing. Okay, so the first string is tuned to E, G, okay, so I'm going to get this very close to being tuned. E, A, D. I told you I don't care how long my videos are, so I'm sure nobody's watching by now. G, F. G. Whoa. Did I not tune that when I put it on? C sharp, D, E, F, F sharp, G. This is the string I always think is going to break and snap in my face. G sharp, A. And this is the string, the second string is the string that breaks the most when people are putting strings on. B. Oh, that's right, I put on the last 2 strings and then got on the phone. Had to talk to my sister and then my mom. That doesn't sound right. That's way too, that's E. Just look at that. You can see how loose that is. That's not E. That's not E. So we're at low E, and then we're gonna go F, F sharp, G, A. See, I always freak out on these 2 strings thinking they're gonna break. A sharp, B. Dog is not happy that I'm tuning the guitar. Go to bed. Go to bed, honey. Go back to bed. Go back to bed. Don't stress out. There's no reason to stress. Just go to sleep. I love you. Go to bed. Go to bed, Pachi Machi. Okay, so let's try that. E. E. Now I have to tune E again. E. A. D. F. It just keeps changing because the strings are stretching. I'm going to show you how to deal with that in a minute. F sharp. Wow, it feels like the string's going to break any G. I had that in tune, and now we're at B, E. Okay, so this is what you do. This is what you do. And a lot of people will say, don't do this. This is what you do. You hold your hand down here. Don't cut your, you don't want to, I'm not going to be responsible if you slice your finger off, but you can see I've got my finger underneath. And so I like to slide underneath the strings. There's not really a lot of room. Don't pull up high. You don't want to break anything. You don't want the string to snap under your finger. But I like to go under there. And what I'm doing now is I'm stretching the string. I don't know if you can see, I'm putting one string under my finger. The E string is going to have the most space, the most pull. I like to go further down and I kind of stress up a little bit. You don't have to do this. You can just leave this alone, and every day or a couple times a day you're going to have to tune your guitar until the strings stretch. The advantage of doing this is that you'll have very little tuning that you have to do each time. You'll still have to tune on occasion, but over the next few days you shouldn't have to tune as much. Okay, so right now everything was in tune. Now we're going to check this again and let's see where we're at. D sharp. So it went down half a step. E. Now we're at D. Why did A? That's way over tuned now. E, A, D. G is down a lot. B. B held it. And you'll find the smaller strings don't really stretch that much. Okay, so I'm going to do that one more time, and then I'm going to play just a little bit. Ow! And make sure you're really careful. You don't want this thing to slice your fingers as you're sliding underneath there. And you do this a couple times after you install, and then maybe the next couple days, and then most of the stretching and the strings will be completely done, and you just won't have to deal with it anymore. Now that's almost way down. That's way down. E. Half a step. That's a G sharp. That's a little bit down. This works really good on steel strings. This is way over. It's weird. It's way over. It's like I'm having to tune it back now. I don't think this works on nylon strings. Nylon strings they're always out of tune. B needed to be tuned up a little. E is now over. So I'm using the EJ13 bronze Diodoro number 10. Now I don't know if I'm going to mix the other video or the other audio so you can hear the difference. Let's just see what's going on here. God, my heart is just melting. I almost want to cry hearing this after talking to my mom about her life. This is much higher pitched. It's a lot higher pitched. It's a lot crisper, a lot brighter. Let's do some, playing very quietly. It's almost midnight. I don't want to freak out the neighbors. It feels a little hard. Well, these are new strings. It feels a little harder on these fingers over here. It sounds absolutely incredible. Let's try it under the nail. Sounds absolutely beautiful. And that's where I'm going to go. I'm going to stick with the number 10s. Let's do a little bit of the lead stuff. Okay, that's good. Now I'm going to try the last thing, the bar chords. That's the important thing. Bar chords, as I said, with the 11 strings, I was able to do them, didn't cause me a problem. I didn't really like it that much. I didn't like pressing as hard as I had to. Let's try this. I did it before with F, G, A. Oh my God, listen to that high-pitched, crisp sound. Oh, is that beautiful. Let's do a B, B minor. Wow, I was able to do an E minor on the 12th fret, which there's no way I could have done that with 11. So let me... That is my review. I know this probably went for like 2 hours. I don't care. I know nobody's going to watch it. I did the video for me. If you want to help out, though, please buy the strings or any Amazon order. Just click on the affiliate link in the video description to help me. I would appreciate it. Stay well, stay safe. We're in the shutdown, LA shutdown, California shutdown, coronavirus, COVID-19. We're all dealing with a lot of stuff. People have lost jobs. People can't pay their bills. People don't have food. The world is upside down right now. So we're all living in a very scary time. So take care of yourself. Stay well. Wear that mask. It really does matter. Unless you are from another party, then it doesn't. And take care of each other. Take care of your parents. They're not here forever. It's a scary thought. I love these strings. Oh my God. It does sound a little brassy. I don't care. It's so easy to play. Oh yes. Thanks for watching, everybody.